In just 24 hours, Dr. Diana Santos made one bold choice that risked everything. By saving an uninsured man, she defied a system built on privilege and triggered a storm that would shake the entire healthcare empire. "You're fired, Dr. Diana. Leave your coat and badge on the table now." Director Whitman's harsh command cut sharply through the bustling lobby of Santa Clara Hospital. Heads turned, eyes wide with shock and sympathy. Diana Santos, 38, stood poised yet resolute, her decade-long record as the hospital's head nurse marked by unwavering dedication. Dissolving in this humiliating public spectacle, escorted by security like a criminal, her dark eyes betrayed none of the turmoil inside, only a quiet strength that defied the moment's cruelty. Whitman's voice rose as he hurled accusations. Serious violation of hospital protocol, unauthorized treatment, use of medical resources without prior payment. His face flushed with a fake fury, dripping with disdain. "People like you need to know their place in this institution." Diana recognized the venom behind those words all too well. 10 years of whispered rumors, cold stares, and denied promotions had taught her the bitter truth of his prejudice, but she stood firm, unyielding. Removing her pristine white coat, Diana responded with calm conviction. "I saved a man's life last night, a man who arrived bleeding, semi-comatose, without any ID or insurance." Whitman slammed his large hand on the desk. "No credit card, no insurance. You wasted valuable hospital resources on some indigent—" His words echoed loudly, but Diana's mind raced back to the night before, the moment that changed everything. At 11 p.m., as her shift was ending, the hospital's automatic doors burst open. A man staggered inside, clothes torn and bloodied, his face smeared with mud and bruises. He collapsed with a desperate plea, "Please help." The night receptionist, Patricia, more absorbed in her phone than her duty, refused to intervene. "No insurance, no treatment, that's the rule," she said coldly. But Diana didn't hesitate. Years of experience screamed that every second mattered. Racing to his side, she checked his weak pulse and irregular breathing. Possible head trauma. "Call Dr. Martinez. Prepare the emergency room," Diana commanded, her hands already working on stabilizing him. Patricia protested. "But Dr. Martinez, the rules—" Diana cut her off, voice sharp. "To hell with the rules. This man is dying." Back in the lobby, handing her badge to security guard Johnson, a man who had always treated her with respect. Diana met his embarrassed gaze as she was led away. "You'll regret this, Whitman," she said quietly. "One day you'll understand that yesterday I saved more than a life." Whitman's laugh was cruel and hollow. "The only thing you saved was some homeless bum. Now get out before I call the cops." As Diana stepped through the hospital's revolving doors for the last time, something caught her eye. The homeless man who had stood on the corner for years, the one everyone overlooked, was gone. In his place stood a sharply dressed man in a tailored suit, quietly speaking into a high-end phone. What no one suspected was that the man Diana saved wore a hidden treasure. A $300,000 zero-cent Patek Philippe watch concealed beneath the grime and blood. And while Diana endured public disgrace, an extraordinary chain of events was already in motion, ready to upend the power structure of that elite hospital forever. The next morning, the unforgiving riverside sun poured through Diana's modest kitchen window. She still felt the sting of humiliation from the day before. Her humble neighborhood was a stark contrast to the posh district where Santa Clara Hospital stood. Yet, in this quiet space, she made a choice that would forever alter her fate. Her phone flashed with 3 missed calls from an unknown number. When she finally answered on the 4th ring, a calm but urgent voice introduced itself. "Dr. Diana Santos, this is Thomas Reynolds, corporate lawyer for Reynolds & Associates. We need to discuss the patient you treated last night." Diana's heart skipped. "If this is about a lawsuit, I was only doing my job." "On the contrary," Reynolds replied. "Your actions have consequences far beyond what you realize. Can we meet in an hour?" An hour later, Diana entered a bustling downtown coffee shop, still in her hospital uniform but without her lab coat. Reynolds, a sharply dressed African-American man, waved her over. Sliding a tablet across the table, he said, "The man you saved, Vincent Montenegro, is CEO of Montenegro Holdings, one of America's largest healthcare corporations." Diana nearly spilled her coffee as she saw his face, bloodied and battered, but unmistakably the same man she had helped. "Vincent has a habit of hiking alone without security to clear his mind. Last night he suffered a serious accident in the mountains and tried to reach your hospital." Meanwhile, back at Santa Clara, Whitman reveled in his moment of authority. Calling an emergency staff meeting, he declared, "Diana Santos has been fired for violating hospital policies. Let this be a warning." Patricia, the receptionist, applauded quietly, but Dr. Martinez, the hospital's only Latino doctor, clenched his fists under the table, silently seething. What Whitman didn't know was that behind the scenes, security footage was being reviewed, emails accessed. A quiet but thorough investigation was underway. Reynolds explained to Diana, "Montenegro is furious, not at you, but at the hospital. He knows how you risked everything to save him and how Whitman humiliated you. He wants to help, but we must act carefully. Whitman has powerful political allies. This won't be simple." While Diana wrestled with bills and the uncertainty of unemployment, Montenegro, recovering in luxury, ordered his team to dig deep. "I want everything on Whitman. Patients turned away, cases of discrimination, any embezzlement. I want proof." The investigation uncovered a disturbing pattern. Over the past 5 years, 89% of Black and Latino patients without premium insurance had been turned away at Santa Clara. Curiously, large donations had been made to the mayor's campaign, the mayor being Whitman's cousin, right after each budget reorganization. Meanwhile, Diana faced harsh messages from former colleagues. Patricia posted on Facebook, "Some people need to learn that rules exist for a reason, justice served." But Diana's quiet resilience was only just beginning. The fight for justice was about to ignite, fueled by the truth she refused to let die. The post had garnered 47 likes, mostly from hospital administrators, but beneath the surface, dissent stirred. Security guard Johnson sent a private message to Dr. Diana. "I have something you need to see. Camera recordings. Whitman doesn't know the system records audio too." On the footage, Whitman's voice was chillingly clear. "That arrogant black woman needs to learn her place. I've been looking for a reason to get rid of her for a long time. She saved a beggar." Perfect. The net was tightening around him. Yet Whitman remained unshaken. At a lavish charity dinner, he toasted the investors confidently. "Santa Clara has never been better. We've eliminated the problem elements. Our profit margin is up 15% this month." What those powerful men didn't realize was that the waiter serving champagne was wearing a tiny camera in his lapel, and every word of Whitman's toast was being broadcast live to a team of lawyers just 3 blocks away. What seemed like a humiliating defeat for Diana was about to become the greatest lesson Santa Clara Hospital and the elitist healthcare system it embodied would ever learn. Because when you underestimate someone like Diana Santos, when you believe money and connections trump justice and compassion, the universe finds creative ways to settle its debts. Whitman's downfall began ironically at his own gala. The Metropolitan Hotel ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers and the murmur of champagne glasses clinking as he was celebrated Director of the Year 4 years running. Whitman mingled among sponsors and politicians, raising his glass to the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, Santa Clara Hospital has posted record profits this quarter. We've proven quality medicine and profitability can go hand in hand." But just then, the giant screens programmed to show a corporate video flickered, and the image of Whitman's confident smile was replaced by hacked footage from hospital security cameras. The hall fell into stunned silence. Whitman's words echoed through the speakers, dripping with contempt. "That arrogant black woman needs to learn her place. I've been looking for a reason to get rid of her for a long time." His face turned first red with fury, then ghostly pale as the footage revealed damning evidence. Statistics showing 312 Black and Latino patients rejected that month, falsified medical records, spreadsheets exposing embezzlement, and incriminating emails. The final blow was a familiar voice. Vincent Montenegro's, filling the room with a chilling confession. My name is Vincent Montenegro. On the 15th of this month, I was refused admission to Santa Clara Hospital after a serious accident. Without the courage of Dr. Diana Santos, who risked her career to save me, I would be dead. Whitman bolted toward the exits, only to find federal agents blocking every door. Deputy Harrison, a seasoned investigator on discrimination cases, stepped forward with a satisfied smile. Thomas Whitman, you are under arrest for fraud, institutional discrimination, and embezzlement of public funds. As the handcuffs clicked around his wrists, Whitman's eyes locked on Diana as she entered the hall in an elegant navy suit, flanked by Montenegro and a team of lawyers. You planned this whole thing? Whitman spat at Diana. No, Director Whitman, she replied calmly. You planned this. I just documented it. Montenegro stepped up. Ironically, my company just acquired Santa Clara Hospital. Our first order of business will be implementing a universal health care program inspired by Dr. Santos's work. Patricia, the former receptionist, who had once turned patients away with cruel delight, tried to slip out unnoticed, until Johnson intercepted her. You also have an invitation from the FBI, he said with a knowing smile. Guests' phones buzzed with notifications as the New York Times published an explosive article, The Santa Clara Scandal, How an Elite Hospital Practiced Medical Apartheid in the 21st Century. My reputation, Whitman shouted as he was dragged away. My career, everything I've built. No. Diana's voice rang firm and clear across the hall. Everything you stole, from patients who needed care, from professionals who deserved respect, from a community that trusted you. The mayor, Whitman's cousin, tried to slip away quietly, but reporters surrounded him. Mr. Mayor, is it true your campaign received $2.3 million in donations from Santa Clara Hospital, coinciding with the spike in patient refusals? If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps give light to voices that deserve to be seen and heard. Meanwhile, Montenegro watched the unfolding news in his luxury suite, smiling. Dear Santos, he said softly into the phone, you just saved more than my life. You saved the integrity of an entire profession. Within an hour, the live broadcast of Whitman's arrest racked up 5 million views. Social media exploded with stories of patients denied care. Justice for Diana trended worldwide. But the most powerful moment came when Diana took the stage in the ballroom, now shining a spotlight on the true heroine. For 10 years, she began, voice strong and unwavering. I watched people die because they didn't have the right credit card. I saw talented colleagues fired for the wrong color. I was publicly humiliated for doing my job, saving lives. The crowd hung on her every word as cameras from every major network broadcast live. But tonight, she continued, is not about revenge. It's about justice. It's about ensuring no hospital ever puts profit above human life again. That no healthcare professional is punished for compassion. Dr. Martinez, who had remained silent through years of abuse, stepped forward. I witnessed it all, and I am ashamed I stayed silent. Dr. Santos, you are the doctor we should all aspire to be. As Whitman was led into the police car, he cast one last look at the hall, where Diana was surrounded by colleagues, patients, and community members, applauding on their feet. The empire he built on discrimination and greed was crumbling, spectacularly and publicly. What no one in that glittering crowd foresaw was that this moment wouldn't just mark the fall of a corrupt man and a broken system. The shockwaves would ripple across the country, forcing a reckoning in elite hospitals and inspiring a new generation of healthcare professionals to choose compassion over profit. 6 months later, the old Santa Clara Hospital underwent a transformation as radical as the lives it served. Where once an elitist plaque had stood, now a modern sign read, Diana Santos Health Center, Universal Care. Diana walked the renovated halls, greeting patients who had never before been able to afford treatment. Her new role as medical director came with a seven-figure salary, but the real reward was in the grateful eyes of those finally receiving dignified care. Johnson, now head of security and earning triple his old salary, approached. The waiting list is over 1,000 people. News of our free care program is spreading fast. Diana smiled. That's exactly what we want. At the front desk, where Patricia once cruelly rejected patients, now worked Maria Gonzalez, a bilingual nurse who had been fired from Santa Clara for not fitting in. She treated everyone with respect, no matter their background or bank account. Dr. Martinez, promoted to chief of emergency, approached with a tablet. We just received another anonymous donation, $5 million this time. The donors are former Santa Clara sponsors desperate to rebuild their reputations. Montenegro made sure every penny is traceable and public. Meanwhile, 300 kilometers away in a federal prison cell, Thomas Whitman was learning the true meaning of humiliation. Sentenced to 15 years for fraud, discrimination, and embezzlement, Thomas Whitman found himself reduced to cleaning toilets in prison. Ironically, the only job available to someone with no allies or influence behind bars. Suddenly, a guard called out, "Visitors for you." Hungry for any contact with the outside world, Whitman hurried to the visiting room. But his heart sank when he saw who was waiting. Johnson, his former security guard, impeccably dressed. "I came to give you this in person," Johnson said, sliding an envelope across the table. Inside was an invitation to the hospital's renaming ceremony. Dr. Santos insisted. Whitman unfolded a photo of the transformed hospital and a New York Times article titled, "Former Discriminated Nurse Transforms Elite Hospital into National Model of Universal Healthcare." Since Whitman's arrest, his world had crumbled. His ex-wife filed for divorce within the first week. His children legally changed their last name. His cousin, the mayor, resigned amid the corruption scandal. All his influential friends vanished into thin air. "You know what's most ironic?" Johnson continued. "Dr. Santos saved the life of the man who changed everything. If you had treated her with respect, you'd still be in your luxurious office." At the grand opening ceremony of the Diana Santos Health Center, Montenegro took the stage. "A year ago, this woman saved my life, without knowing who I was, without caring about my status or bank account. Today, thanks to her, thousands of lives will be saved every year." The auditorium erupted in applause. Diana stepped forward wearing an elegant doctor's uniform designed especially for her, the very spotlights that once illuminated Whitman's arrogance now shining on her. "When I was fired," she began, voice echoing through the hall, "I thought it was the end. But I learned that sometimes the universe has to take us out of the wrong place to put us exactly where we belong." In the front row, her mother wept with pride. Representatives from hospitals across the country took notes. The Diana Santos model was already being studied for national implementation. "The real revolution in healthcare," Diana continued, "doesn't happen in executive boardrooms. It happens when we decide every life has equal value, regardless of bank balance." 6 cameras broadcast the event live, and Motello Diana Santos trended worldwide. Universities competed for Diana to lecture, and her biography was already being penned by a best-selling author. Patricia, the former receptionist, now worked as a cashier at a suburban pharmacy. Every time Diana appeared on TV, Patricia switched the channel. Her cruel posts had gone viral, serving as a cautionary tale of how not to treat human beings. The most powerful moment came when Diana announced a full scholarship program for Black and Latino medical students. "No one," she declared, "will ever be prevented from saving lives because of their skin color or zip code." Montenegro stepped up to the microphone. "Montenegro Holdings is proud to donate $100 million to expand this model to 5 more cities." As flashes exploded and the crowd gave a standing ovation, Diana had a moment of clarity. A year ago, she lost everything for doing the right thing. Today, she was leading a healthcare revolution that would save countless lives. The lesson was crystal clear. The best revenge against injustice isn't to destroy those who hurt you. It's to build something so great their evil becomes irrelevant. Diana didn't just bring down Whitman, she built an empire of compassion that made everything he stood for obsolete. And while Thomas Whitman rotted in his cell, counting endless days of his sentence, Diana Santos became an international symbol of true greatness, born from compassion and courage. Sometimes, being fired for doing the right thing is just the universe preparing you for something infinitely greater. If this story of overcoming adversity and poetic justice touched your heart, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories that prove integrity always wins, sometimes in spectacular fashion. Thank you for watching this story unfold. A powerful reminder that kindness and compassion can light the darkest paths. Every small act of justice, every moment of courage, sends ripples far beyond what we see. In a world that can sometimes feel divided, it's these human connections that bring us together and heal us. If this story touched your heart, please consider sharing it with someone who needs a little hope today. And if you'd like to join us on this journey of uplifting stories that celebrate the best of humanity, we'd be honored if you subscribed and stayed with us. Remember, as the poet Maya Angelou said, try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud, because sometimes all it takes is one light to brighten an entire world.